you know, it seems like the harshness of just boycotting something when it comes out without understanding the ramifications socially in that area. Like you said, Newfoundland for a while relied heavily on natural goods, fishing, hunting, and whatnot. And when the fisheries collapsed, when the cod fishery collapsed, it had huge ramifications across Newfoundland. And so it's one of those things where you wonder, people take such extreme action so quickly. And maybe it just looks politically good favor, but it seems like it's harming. It's not helping the situation, where hunters are just going to be like, well, you know what, I don't care. I'm just going to do it anyway because somebody's going to buy this from me. I need it. I need the money. I've been doing this forever, and it's a tradition. So it just seems unfair, you know, from a social aspect to condemn somebody who does this, but actually relies on it for sustenance and food.
I have some sympathy for that point of view, but at the same time, as you said, the way in which the seal hunt is carried out could probably change. I mean, is it not possible to shoot the seals instead of hammering them with some sort of ice pick?
Right.
You know, really, it's that kind of brutality that upsets people,
Right.
especially when it's projected to them on a TV screen. On the other hand, having a gun and shooting the seal is relatively simple, and it's something that we seem to accept in other sorts of situations. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the seal hunters are not doing themselves any favor
Right.
by this way. It's time maybe to change the way they do it.
Yeah, possibly. That's one alternative. Now switching on the focus, I've got two more things and I'll do it quickly. But what's the difference between, I guess, traditional tourism and ecotourism? Is it just a term, or is everything switching towards ecotourism? If you give me an example of just regular tourism.
Right. Good question.
Sorry.
I guess I would say at the extreme, sort of traditional tourism is mass tourism. It's people getting on large cruise liners and getting off and buying souvenirs and getting on and going home again, without really any sort of connection to the natural world, except that maybe they look out and say that it looks pretty. I think ecotourism is supposed to be more than that. It's supposed to be different in scale. It's supposed to be small scale. It's supposed to be about leaving local economic impacts and social impacts. It's about learning about natural environments and the things that are in them, and experiencing that that way. I mean, I'm not sure that it's an either or. I think it might be sort of way down here at one end is traditional tourism, and way out at the other end is ecotourism.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough, but let's not think that ecotourism is the sort of panacea here. In fact, I just blogged this morning something that I saw from Uganda about the possibility of ceasing the tours to see the mountain gorillas, because some NGOs have reported that the impact on the mountain gorillas is much worse than people thought.
Right.
And yet we know that local people derive substantial incomes from that particular activity of taking tourists to see the mountain gorillas, and that tourists who do so often describe it as the experience of their lives. So on the one hand, we're still dealing with this issue of having impacts as we attempt to sort of see something that we've never seen before.
Right.
So I would be a little wary of jumping on the ecotourism bandwagon too heavily.
Right.
And that doesn't even get to the kind of work that my colleague Harvey Lemelin has done with so-called polar bear tourists up in Churchill, which is a whole other topic by itself.
I can imagine. Yeah, definitely. Okay, great. And I guess what's that?
I'm nearly nearly out of time.
Okay, well that's fine. We'll end it here. And
I've got.
No problem. We'll end the interview
One
here.
last one.
Well, no, it's okay. We'll end it here because this
Okay.
one's sort of a big one as well. And I'd like to ask you back another time because I think there's a lot of things that we can touch upon, especially going back to the beginning of the interview, the land and sea interaction and how in legislation and conservation planning, it's been omitted, I guess, in a lot of areas, and I think it has to do with that interaction between social and it's sort of similar to the social and natural biologist interaction, also the terrestrial and sea interaction. So if you'd like, you can come back and we can talk about that a whole new session. But when you come back from your trip, or maybe later on when you have the time before the September semester starts up again. But
I'm happy to do that.
that'd be fantastic. Great. Well, Bob, I really appreciate you coming on, especially going to Australia. And I wish you a safe trip, and I hope you get everything you want done there in the time that you're there, and enjoy the weather and enjoy the sea.
Thanks, Andrew. I've enjoyed doing this, and I look forward to doing another one.
Fantastic.